Great to have you on the show, the OG of startup ecosystem, and that's what you're known as well. But what inspired you to leave a stable corporate job and start naukri.com in the late 90s when the internet was still very new in India?
So let me put it this way. I quit my job in 1990 and I became an entrepreneur. And we launched Naukri in 97. So actually for 7 years, I was drifting and doing a whole bunch of small things. I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did not want the life of a corporate executive. So I was seeking a different life. And after working for 5 years in two large multinationals, I felt I should do something different and on my own and be independent and see what happens. So I was drifting and experimenting with my career. And during those 7 years, I did a bunch of small things, salary surveys, trademarks database, teaching, training, writing. I was a part-time journalist for a while. So, I know what being a journalist is. I was a consulting editor at the Pioneer newspaper for a couple of years, part-time. And so I did about 20 small things. And Naukri itself was the 21st small thing, a nifty small idea, which we launched in 1997. At that time, there were only 14,000 internet accounts in the country. And we said, let's just put jobs on the internet and see if we get traffic. And we collated jobs from 29 newspapers around the country, we used to get every week into our office, and take the appointment ads and rehash them in our own words, and put them up on the net, and traffic began to come. Once traffic began to come, we began to charge for listings. So slowly, revenue grew. First year, 2.5 lakhs. Second year, 18 lakhs. Third year, 36 lakhs. And that's when we raised venture capital. After bootstrapping was 3 years. And that is when actually we began to grow the company. So, yeah, we worked hard, worked smart, drifted, got lucky, God was kind, whatever. So I had no big ideas. I had a bunch of small ideas, and we would pursue them in sequence. And this one turned out to be a big idea.
All right. And also, Mr. Bikhchandani, now let's touch base upon the drifting in your career that you were just mentioning about. Help us understand what were some of the biggest early hurdles you faced in financing, especially in the pre-VC funding in India, and how did you approach building a business that became profitable early on, unlike many startups that burn cash for years?
If you don't have money, you have no choice but to break even to survive. It basically means you get money from customers. So you've got to produce products and sell products that customers will pay for them in advance, because you don't have working capital. So your working capital is given to you by your customer advances, which basically means that you've got to identify what opportunity you want to address in such a manner that you are unique and there is a burning need. If these two are satisfied, you will get your terms of trade, you'll get the price you want, and you'll get your payment in advance, and that helps. And that's what we did.
So how has that shaped your investment strategy?
We as a company retain our frugal DNA, because for the first 10 years of our existence, 7 years prior to Naukri and 3 years after Naukri till we raised venture capital, we never had money. We were always scrambling for money. On the 28th of every month, I would wonder how we'd pay the salaries. But, somehow money would come and, we would be able to make payroll. And we never missed payroll even once. So we got lucky in that sense. We were also very frugal. So I think our frugal DNA remains. Having said that, times are different now. There is much more capital available. There is much more competition. The market is much larger. So the payoffs, if you succeed, are much, much higher. So all these three things are the entrepreneurs we invest behind are bolder than we were. They are more ambitious. They have global ambitions. We were very risk averse and conservative. So times have changed. Founders have changed. Opportunities have changed. Market has changed. Technology has changed. Many changes. Having said that, we retain our frugal DNA. We evaluate every rupee before we spend it.
Now, B2B and SaaS, these themes are well poised to build for the world, and you have been investing in these themes since 2006. 2007 from several sectors like delivery, food, agriculture, fintech, and now AI. As an investor, how do you view these bets playing out? And if things were different, would you have taken those bets differently?
We began to invest in 2007. Since then, we have invested in 130 startups. Of these, the two most successful ones are Zamato and Policybazaar. We invested in Policybazaar in 2008 and we invested in Zamato in 2010. So it has taken 17 years and 15 years for them to reach where they have reached. Right? So first of all, it takes time. You've got to be patient. Inception to IPO was, 14 years in one case, 13 years in one case, and 11 years in the other case. So in India, you got to, if you're investing in early stage companies, to actually see them to fruition and scale, and therefore large returns, you've got to be patient. Right? It cannot be a 5-6 year thing. It may be 15 years, 20 years, I don't know. Second is, of the remaining companies, some have failed, some are work in progress, and some are likely to succeed. So let's see. It's, the entrepreneurship is, early stage entrepreneurship is fundamentally Darwinian in nature. Many try, some succeed.
Right, defense as a sector of interest to you, given the interest it has got after Operation Sindoor?
Defense is an exciting sector. Defense is a sector that's needed in the country. Defense has opportunities. But, defense also, you got to understand, in most cases, you usually have only one customer, which is the government of India. Now, that comes with attendant benefits and possible risks when you have only one customer. So that's something to be thought through. It is also important to try and address global markets, because now exports are allowed while you are working in defense. The other thing is that, the life of a VC fund is 10 years, 12 years. Sometimes defense companies to scale and make money may take 15, 20 years. And therefore, defense may be more up the alley of large companies diversifying from their own balance sheet. Just as Bharat Forge is doing, just as the Mahindras are doing, and others are doing, as opposed to VC-funded startups. Of course, there will be enough VC-funded startups also will succeed, but there will also be large companies diversifying that will succeed and perhaps have more staying power.
And also, given the competition in the quick commerce space, how do you see Zomato positioning itself? Because it seems like now they are prioritizing market share over profits. How do you view this strategy?
Well, that's in the short run, there will be competitive pressures. But in the medium term, it's pretty clear to me that people have to migrate to prudent unit economics. You cannot discount your way to heaven. It will not work. And it's a matter of time. So I guess Zamato has enough staying power to wait it out and eventually win.
So when investors think of scaling up in the recent past, we've seen some Indian startups are struggling with corporate governance. As an investor, how do you make priority in the startups you're investing in, and what is the best way to work towards being a reasonable startup?
First of all, I want to say that, yes, there have been issues in the ecosystem in some companies, but I want to say that most startups, 95, 98%, maybe 99% of founders are honest. They are working hard, building the companies. They are not cheating and lying. Okay. Now, having said that, how we look at it is that, first of all, at InfoEdge, we've been clear from the beginning that we have to be well governed, and we have constantly worked towards that. Now, once our own standards have been established, which they have been 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, when we began, then it's a matter of selecting founders who share the same values. We almost always have succeeded. In 1 or 2 cases, there may have been a problem. But I think one of the filters we look at is integrity. Now, it's hard to assess, especially in early stage, but you kick the tires, you do ref checks, you figure out, you do founder diligence, you figure out, and then you go with founders who you believe are clean, apart from being capable, competent, and addressing the right idea and market.
And also, Mr. Bikhchandani, you recently announced a 1,000 crore of fund. Help us understand which sectors will the fund be focusing on? What are the plans to invest?
Our fund 3, so in the beginning we invested from our balance sheet. Then we had Info Ventures Fund 1, and then Fund 2, and now this is Fund 3. The strategy, the sectors remain the same. We will do early stage tech, both consumer tech and B2B tech, internet, mobile, and some other areas of tech. That remains our strategy and our focus. Our method of investing is that we will never do it top down. We'll not pick a sector and say, okay, let's do this sector. We will meet 1,000 companies a quarter, which is what we do. We will see what's bubbling up from under. And anything that looks interesting, we will look at more closely and possibly invest in. So that's how we invest. That's how we found Zamato. That's how we found Policybazaar. We just kept meeting companies and we found these 2 and other companies. And then that's how we invested.
Geopolitical headwinds, and do you see investments coming to India in the startup ecosystem?
I expect this tariffs confusion to be sorted out in the next 6 to 9 months. You may end up being not in a very different place from where you started in terms of tariffs. There will be some marginal differences, but not too much. I do believe that, with some luck, these trade wars may also settle down. So there might be a year or so of disruption, but after that, it should be okay in my view. I don't have any data for this. It's just what I'm expecting using my judgment. Now, as far as India is concerned, actually, we've thus far not been so badly impacted. Because a lot of the US hire is targeted at China, not so much at India. We've had to give a few concessions, and that's fine. We are rapidly entering into FTAs with every other major economy. So it will settle down, in my view.
And also, Mr. Bikhchandani, you have investments in many unlisted companies, including some big investments like ILE. So are there any plans for value unlocking in any of these businesses, or you're looking forward for any of the IPOs?
Look, we are patient capital. We will allow all our investing companies to grow. We will help them grow wherever they want help, need help. We will enable them to grow wherever we can. And they will find their logical destiny in due course of time. We are not in a hurry.
So as the cash burn in the matrimony and education business reduce Q1Q, can we expect them to soon now become, profitable?
I can't make any forward-looking statements, and also we are right now in a quiet period. But let me assure you that we are conscious of the fact that in the long run, all our businesses have to be profitable. And we've made very good progress in 99 acres, in Jeevan Sathi. In Shiksha was already profitable. In the last 1 year, we've made some very good progress.
So the hiring trend was muted in the past quarter. What kind of hiring trends are you seeing on the portal, and what's the outlook?
If you look at the Naukri Job Streak Index, if you look at our revenue growth, in the last quarter, we're taking it quarter on quarter, but thus far, there does not seem to be any cause for alarm. But we know that the environment is volatile, and therefore we are taking it quarter on quarter. We are not making any forward-looking statement.
So what is next for Sanjeev Bikhchandani, and what kind of personal goals are you chasing now?
No, I want to do more of the same, work with startups. I love working with startups.
All right, Mr. Bikhchandani, with this, we let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us on this our very special day as we celebrate our 16th anniversary. But taking a look at the markets, they look cheerful too.